Masters of the Universe Revelation, quite simply, is one of the worst reboots of modern memory. So is there any chance that the second half of season 1 is going to be able to stick the landing and turn this dumpster fire into something that fans can look back at fondly to? We're going to look at that, but before we do, I just want to talk about my comic book Malevolent Rising, issue number 5, currently funding at Indiegogo. I really hope you guys check this book out. I'll put a link in the description, and you consider backing the book. It really helps me out, helps the channel grow. You get to check out what it is that I'm working on and what I do. So please take a look, on with the video. So, Masters of the Universe Revelation was no less than a masterclass of everything wrong with modern Hollywood. Agenda-driven creative decisions, identity politics, unlikable characters, all put together to make an unwelcome reboot of a beloved 1980s IP. So, knowing that, what needs to happen to make the second half of this season salvageable? What do we need to do to save this show? So I figure we take a look at a few of the things that I think need to happen. Now, keep in mind, I realize this is an animated series, so these episodes are most likely already in the can and done. So what's going to happen has already happened. But I don't know. As far as I know, at the time of this recording, we haven't been given a drop date on when the last episodes are going to hit, so maybe they do have some work to do. But on with the story. So what I'm showing here are the main characters: Teela, Roboto, Evelyn, Ardra, and Orko. As of the season finale cliffhanger, Orko and Roboto are both dead, and Prince Adam is dead again for a second time. Skeletor is reborn and has a sword of power. So, step 1, supporting characters. After what I just said, the only characters we have left are Teela, Evelyn, and Ardra. So we have a lot of vacancies. Master of the Universe has literally dozens of characters to choose from, and most of the side characters that we saw were in Easter egg or cameo style appearances. We didn't get a lot of screen time with a lot of the other characters, so we literally have almost the entire world of Eternia to bring in some characters. So I really hope the writers take this opportunity and kind of restock the ranks of the heroes with some of the more beloved and known characters from He-Man's mythos. That brings us to number 2, the identity politics. So as I said, the main characters that are remaining are Evelyn, Ardra, and Teela, which are really just the main characters anyway. The male characters, Roboto, Orko, and Beastman, were really just there to kind of be led around by the girls. They didn't really do anything to contribute, with the exception of their literally dying moments for Orko and Roboto. Other than that, this has really just kind of been the Teela show with Evelyn and Ardra, and it's given us a lot of just kind of cringy girl power moments. And then besides that, I look at the character designs for these 3. I mean, they are really, really masculine looking girls. They have big, broad shoulders, biceps, prominent chins, chiseled jaws. I mean, these aren't features that are normally associated with a woman, even a muscular, fit woman. Seriously, look at your typical female MMA fighter, which I would assume if I was trying to do a character design or character study that would fit in for Teela, that's what I would look at. They're still recognizably female. I'm getting very strong villain from Last of Us 2 vibes looking at this crew. I mean, even Evelyn, she's got these massive arms. Evelyn is a spellcaster. Her whole purpose is the fact that she's an evil sorceress. She doesn't need muscle. She doesn't use them. It makes sense for somebody like He-Man or Skeletor. They're like barbarians. Skeletor, I know, he used a lot of magic because He-Man can overpower him the way he does. And that's the only way Skeletor can even stand toe-to-toe with him. So that seemed like an unnecessary creative decision. And as far as Teela goes, that shaved one half of the head trope that I really think is overdone at this point. And just really, really poor choices in her creative decision. And again, you can just see this is the kind of thing where you see the agenda leaks into the creative choices, because as an artist, if I'm asked to design a new look for Teela, this is not the look I would have gone for. So I'm hoping in the second chapter, maybe with the addition of some new characters, these characters can take a little bit of a step back and let some new characters shine and maybe try to bring some fun back into the show. And that brings us to problem number 3, which is Teela. So besides just the rotten character design, Teela was given a terrible, terrible unlikable character treatment in this show. So she's always just angry. She's angry that everyone she knew lied to her, which I can understand. It would have been a great character arc for her, but we never returned to that, because to return to that would be giving Teela kind of a flaw or a weakness in that she doesn't trust people easily. And Teela has no flaws or weaknesses. That's part of the other problem. There's nothing here for us to watch her have to overcome. She starts off with everything she needs to complete the story at the beginning. Even in the episode where you see her fears manifested, her greatest fears are He-Man as a rival to her, but ultimately her great fear was she is so awesome and powerful, she's afraid of how awesome and powerful she could become. That's not a flaw or a fear. That's just a character thing. I don't know even what to call that. It's a bonus. Nothing challenges her. Nothing really threatens her in any way. So really going forward, the threat of the show needs to rise up to her, which is poor writing at best. But that's what we need to see happen, is we need to see her challenged in some way. We need to see something for her to overcome and for her to encounter something that we have a legitimate belief can actually stop or defeat her. That's not, I mean, we shouldn't have to be asking for that at all, especially with the cliffhanger. She should be more or less on the ropes, but she's not. More on that in a bit, but definitely Teela's character needs some work and something resembling an arc going forward. That brings us to number 4, He-Man Restored. As I said, He-Man was taken down and killed in the first episode, which I was on record in my last video, which I'll link in the description. I don't think that the question of what would Eternia be like without He-Man and Skeletor is a bad idea or a bad question to ask. There's a lot of potential for storytelling there. But, I mean, to take He-Man, they took He-Man out of the story, and then they just kind of spend the rest of the show more or less just disrespecting him. A lot of people are kind of especially Teela kind of views him as, good riddance. We never needed him. Magic and the power was stupid, and the world is better off without him. And then in episode 5, when we encounter Prince Adam again, she's not even happy to see him. She's angry at him still. Even though he gave his life literally to save her, she still turns her back at him and is disrespectful to him. And just kind of, we're here for the sword, so good to see you again, Adam. We're going to go save the world now. Goodbye. That is a horrible treatment for the show's main character, whether you're trying to move away from him or not. And not only does He-Man need to be restored, we kind of need a restoration of Adam. The idea of just passing the sword to somebody else and having somebody else become He-Man is not a great passing of the torch story for this show. Now, they showed in the afterlife all the champions that have held the sword before He-Man, and they're all unique and they're all different. So we know that if somebody else raises the sword and calls on the power of Grayskull, they're not just going to turn into He-Man. They'll become some kind of champion based on themselves. So that being said, in order for He-Man to be properly restored, Adam is going to have to be restored along with that. That being said, Skeletor, who, again, spoiler alert, was revealed to still be alive at the end of the cliffhanger season, episode 5, the final battle with him, if it comes down to a battle between Skeletor and Teela for the fate of the universe, that is going to be incredibly disappointing, because Skeletor and He-Man they are the fight. That's the nemesis. You can do Eternia without He-Man, but you cannot do the fall of Skeletor without He-Man being the one that does it. And not just he comes in at the end, and not just he's defeated with the spirit of He-Man on their side. We, the fans who have been fans of Masters of the Universe for 30 plus years, almost 40 years now, the thing that we always want is that smackdown between He-Man and Skeletor once and for all, and that's what the finale has to be. And that's why every one of the things I put up on the list beforehand matter. He-Man needs to be restored to defeat Skeletor. Teela is going to have to take a back seat for that to happen, and that's going to be hard to walk back given the role that you've put her in. More supporting characters are going to be needed because the final battle for Eternia should be epic. And the identity politics need to be shelved because there's just no room for that when you're trying to tell an epic good versus evil story. We don't want the politics of today bleeding into our show that we've loved forever, that you're trying to give us a sequel or conclusion to. So really, all I'm saying is we need to get back to basics. What made this show great? They need to look and try to figure out what it was that people liked about the show in the beginning and go back to that. And you can do that without rehashing what came before. You just need to look at the themes and the characters and the things that made this such an enduring property for so many years. I mean, He-Man has been around almost my entire life, and he's kind of comes and goes in different forms, but there are themes of He-Man that are always there. And those are the themes that this reboot needs to somehow find a way to recapture. So, in the end, can Masters of the Universe Revelation be salvaged? Yes, but it will be hard. It will be hard based on the road that they've already established. They're going to have to walk a lot back. They're going to have to reinsert some characters that they've kind of portrayed as problematic. They're going to have to take these very strong and very strong-headed female leads and to give people the emotional payoff that they wanted for so many years and to make this show what I think Kevin Smith wanted it to be. Those characters are going to have to step back and let the main faces of the franchise do what they do. And that's going to be hard to do based on the tone that they've already set. Can be done. It's a lot. It's a lot of a lot, and maybe they can. I doubt it. I would say the odds at this point are probably less than 20% that the second half is going to give us fans anything that we would enjoy or call a success. But maybe we'll be surprised. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think would make for a good finale for the show, or even if it's possible at this point for this show to be salvaged in your eyes. Is it just too far gone? Have they just committed too many sins and you have no interest on seeing where they take this show from here? Let me know in the comments below. While you're down there, please hit like, subscribe, even share the video. We can try to help this channel grow. I'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to check out my comic book, Malevolent Rising, issue number 5 at Indiegogo. Link in the description to the crowdfunding campaign. And I will talk to you in the next video. Thanks so much.